By the way, how was the Big Apple?
Oh, wild. It was so wild and wonderful. I
She
could
said,
al-
"What?
I could almost move there. I had so much fun.
Okay, we're going to start now."
So, hi everyone, and thanks for being here today, this evening. We just have a live meetup, and this is just a casual get together speaking about very high level truth. And we're going to start with, well, Tina, why don't you tell us what we're going to speak about tonight for those that uh, may not know? And then Raphael can lead us in a short meditation.
This and that in action. The body's listening. Are you?
Say it again, please, because for me, you cut out.
Do you want me to do the whole thing again?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, cool.
Okay, this and that in action. The body's listening. Are you?
Oh, actually, just so you know, this and that was just telling you that this morning I wrote one title and then this and that. So the actual title of this meetup, I can say I'm going to have a little editing to do if I ever post this. The actual title is the last part. So you want to say that part?
Oh, sure. The body's listening. Are you?
Okay, Raphael,
Okay.
I'm going
You
to mute everyone.
all righty then. Everybody sit back in your chair, put your back against the back of the chair, sitting up straight, and take a nice deep cleansing breath. Inhale in, fill your lungs, and exhale out. Inhale in and exhale out all the tension from the day. And one more time. Inhale up, hold it, and exhale out through your nose. And start to sink inside your breath, just focusing only on your breath. Focus on the sound of my voice and let everything else go to a blur. Like when you blur out the background on your screen on Zoom, just let everything else blur away as you become totally and completely present, completely here right now, feeling your body, feeling any sensations in your body, breathing in, breathing out, relaxing your shoulders, your face, your neck, top of your head, breathing in and out. Feel the breath coming in through your feet, coming up your legs, through your hips, up your spine, and feel the energy as it rises up through your spine, through your heart chakra, through your third chakra, all the way up to the third eye, and finally up to the crown and out, and feel and see a continuous form of light coming in from your feet all the way up through your crown. Feel yourself purging, feel yourself letting go of anything of the day, any toxins, anything emotional, physical, just letting go, just being totally and completely present. Breathing in, breathing out. Focus on your breath. Everything else goes away. Feel your tummy as your chest rises and falls. Going deeper and deeper. You're in a cloud, just suspended, feeling nothing, feeling no pain, feeling nothing, just being here right now inside yourself. Feel the energy coming in through you and out, in and out, going deeper and deeper. Feel your body relaxing, feeling your muscles relax, feeling your mind slow down, just being, nowhere to go, nothing to be, nothing to do. Take one more deep breath in, exhale it out, and slowly start to come back into the room, sensing your surroundings, the air touching your face, starting to come back into your body with an incredible sense of gratitude for all that is and everything that you are. One more deep breath in, inhale, exhale, and open your eyes.
Thank you, Raphael. So tonight we are going to have Tina reiterate our title.
The body is listening. Are you?
So when you think of the body, just note what your belief systems are about what the body does, how you feel about it. Be really, really, really honest with yourself. Do you tolerate it? Are you mad at it? Are you disgusted because it looks a certain way or feels weak sometimes or seems to cause a lot of difficulty in many different areas? None of these are good or bad or right or wrong. It's about awareness, knowing what is going on inside of all the parts of you. How you feel about your body has a lot to do with your body. And how you be with your body and how you've been with your body, how you grew up thinking about your body didn't like just disappear. It's stored. All of everything is stored in the body. It's very, very smart, and it is a tremendous, it's kind of like a constantly taking photographs. It's like the image, the things it thinks, the things it feels, they all get imprinted. That's why when we have a difficult childhood, for example, all of those things are so deeply imprinted on the physicality in our cellular memory. And everything has to go somewhere. So when it gets stuffed, it starts taking up energy in the body. It starts using up energy. It starts creating blocks, energetic blocks in the body. And when that occurs, it's very challenging for the body to really function at its highest level. Because all of these coagulated vibrations, energies, feelings, I mean, they're all vibrations and all of that, but they come from the feelings and the belief systems that create even more feelings. And we know that we got those from all the stuff that we heard when we were younger and prior to this lifetime. It's not like it just suddenly showed up out of nowhere today or yesterday. We've been carrying this stuff around for a very long time, and sometimes for many, many lifetimes. And the body reaches a place where, if that has been the case, sometimes it just comes into this lifetime with so much that it is taken on that hasn't been resolved, that it becomes so overloaded that it doesn't know how to get through the things that are in front of it. There's so many different reasons the body has expression the way it does. And expression can mean illness, can mean happiness, can mean athleticism, can mean hormone imbalance, grumpiness. I mean, there's just literally hundreds, if not thousands, of ways the body takes in the energy and what it does with it. So we know these things, but one of the main premise is for us to realize, to really recognize that we are not the body. We are awareness, pure awareness. We are formless. We're vast. We're eternal. But this body, this is like a sacred instrument. It's a very powerful instrument, and it responds to the frequencies of the identity or the image or the belief systems, which are all basically the same things. They've all gathered up and created this confluence of straightforward garbage that is now who it is that we think we are. All this stuff has come together and just created robotic way of living. And it has the seemingly amazing power to really mess up our day and our life. And we don't, usually, most people don't look at it and go, wow, body is just trying to express itself because it doesn't know what to do with all this stuff it has in here. So the judgment starts, and that means that whatever was going on to begin with is now exacerbated. It's more. So you have belief systems that you aren't loved and lovable, and as a child, your parents didn't pay a lot of attention to you, they didn't acknowledge you, you were never enough, you didn't get good enough grades, you didn't whatever, or maybe you had physical abuse or any of those things. All of those things were deeply embedded in the cellular memory. And here we are as adults, and it's like our mind may think something completely different than what our body knows how to experience. It doesn't have things to relate to. So it's really important to recognize. You have a question anytime, just let me know. Go, Laura. Go.
I'm really it's so resonant what you're sharing right now because I've been experiencing a lot of that in the body. And I just want to ask, how do you change that? And what does it take for that to, yeah, the body, you know? like being so exhausted. And I know what you're saying is so on point, and I was aware, but awareness, but how do you change it? Or how, what do you
We,
do?
we're going to talk about that and be sure that if for some reason I don't seem like I'm covering it enough before we end, you let me know. Okay, because we're going to get into that because it's important. I mean, I I love the fact that we have an understanding because that many times can help diminish the judgments and the resistance and all of that because we know it's not like I consciously choose or chose to whatever it is. I mean, I remember years ago when the big thing was, you choose everything, you create everything, and it's like somebody who breaks their arm or ends up with cancer or all of that. I mean, that just sends them straight into the guilt mode, shame, and feeling even more terrible because they didn't know they did that. So it's not like it's a conscious thing. And it's important to recognize that there are many, many reasons why we experience the things that we do in our body. So we'll talk a little bit about that. First, we have to have a really clear understanding that our body is reflecting what our life has presented to us, what our beliefs are about life. If your parents or your friends weren't nice to you, if you were bullied, immediately we are impacted with an energy that feels fearful and defensive. So, I mean, that's a basic understanding living in a polarity-based world like this. We know that we have fear and love, so to speak. Well, when something that comes up that seems to attack energetically, emotionally, or otherwise, the the being, it just makes it grow like by a gazillion because it's reactivating and enhancing the already current belief system that I'm not safe and I'm in fear. So it becomes a catch-22. We become so deeply entrained, if you will, in being unhappy, being afraid, feeling impotent, feeling like, what's the point? That we don't know how to get out of it. And that's pretty much every human. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
I'm just saying yes. I'm just saying yes. I so feel that today. So I'm just laughing. Feels like another mirror sharing that. Yeah.
Well, you just have a great recognition about it, and some people have it more in their face than others. And regardless of what it is, everybody hears it the way they do. But when it really resonates, then you know that this is your time, so to speak. This is your time to really get this. So it's important that we remember that we're not the body. It's important that we remember that the body is the suit. It's the costume, if you will. It's the avatar. And consciousness is what's animating this form. It's really, really important to be able to get that. You have a form, and the form, like I said, we can say it's like a costume, it's a suit, we can call ourselves avatars, whatever it is that we want. But this is something that, for lack of a better term, is external. What is running the ship, if you will, what's flying the plane, what's making everything happen is consciousness emanating and expressing its own desire to experience stuff. And it doesn't have one tiny bit of resentment. Oh my God, I shouldn't have experienced that. It wants to experience all the things we're experiencing. And it does because there's wisdom that is gleaned and it knows beyond a doubt there's nothing really going to happen anyway. It just seems like it's real. And if you look at a movie and somebody's tortured, after the scene, they go off stage and, they go off the set and they go, okay, we're going for dinner. It's not real. And if you watch any sports, like football, or a lot of those things, they go on the field and this is an important piece, they go on the field on purpose. We could seemingly feel like we came here by accident somehow. We didn't have any say-so in it. Well, you had as much say-so in it as the people that go onto the football field and stand in front of 12, 11 people and get bowled over and hurt. And that's a choice because of the payoff that they are getting. That's how very clear you, as a true you, are about what you're doing. So ultimately, it's not really nervous about it. So the body is going to change, it's going to age, it's going to hurt, it's going to regenerate, it's going to do all the things that bodies do, but you don't. You don't change. You do not do anything in regard to any kind of change. You can't. Because you are all that is. But the reason that we create these avatars is so we can experience what it seems like is not, from a personality standpoint, is not fun. But you could, if you really got it, you'd see it differently. And you could embrace the pain. It's like, oh. The difficulty is that pain is quote unquote normal in this human experience, but suffering is not. Suffering is an elective. That's a choice that we make. And what makes our suffering occur is how we frame what it is that's going on. And that's the big thing. There's a saying, I'll remember it exactly. This could be it. We're not suffering. We're suffering our suffering, or we're suffering our pain. We have pain. Okay, I have pain. Then we suffer because we have pain, because we think we're not supposed to have pain. We think we don't want to have pain. In other words, we're in resistance. Resistance is the cause of all suffering. Resistance is the cause of all suffering. Because we are fighting with what is, and pretty sure you know that this is like a joke, because you can't win, if you will, if you're fighting something. You're not going to feel elevated, alive, connected if you are fighting what is, because everything is. You're just in the midst of the is store. I've used this before. You walk into 31 flavors. Well, what is there's 31 flavors there. That's just what's there. Nothing you're going to do about it. And that's what happens in life. Life is here. Life is going to do what life does. You can look around your room. You're just in your room experiencing what's in your room. But it doesn't mean that you are the singing bowls. It doesn't mean that you're the computer monitor. It just means it's already there. Now, how do you want to be with the singing bowls? How do you want to be with the chair or the bed that you're seated or lying down in? How do you want to be with all of the things that are around you? Because they're there. So this brings it down to perception. How do you want to perceive it? Everything in life is your perception. And this includes all the things that go on with the body. So the more you identify with the body, the more you think you're the body, the more you're going to suffer. Bottom line. If you got caught up in the body, then you will find yourself in more challenge or difficulty. Because the body is listening. When there's resistance, resistance comes with a judgment. And the judgment moves into or is connected to a thought. And the thought is going to create an emotion. And then comes a belief. This happened, so that means da 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 da, whatever your perception is. And that belief then becomes a biological event, if you will. It's a biological language. The body takes that on. So if we have chronic anxiety, chronic stress, illness, fatigue, a lot of times it's because we're not listening to what the body is trying to tell us. The body is very communicative. And the body is way smart. So what the body knows it needs time to regenerate because it's been pushed against the wall with so much. It'll start slowing down and giving you the opportunity, giving any of us, speaking to myself here, the opportunity to do something different. Have awareness, have respect, have kindness, have compassion for your body. It's your vehicle. Without it, you're not going to get to play this game the way that you have been. All the fun things, all the loving things, and all the other things won't be available because in this world, in what it is that we're speaking about, you need one of these. And if you don't listen to it, then it will continue to degenerate. And that is going to create difficulty, for lack of a better term, along the way as it does start to deteriorate. Now we have another whole factor there because our social consciousness says bodies are going to go away. On the other hand, there will be a time because of the way that things are changing so quickly and rapidly, and AI is creating miraculous kinds of healings and things of that nature for the body. There's real thought that within, in the next century or next, by maybe what years is 2025, could be as early as, it could be as early as 2030. It could be 2050. Whatever it is, the bottom line is life extension will be more. But if you live longer and you haven't connected here, you're not going to be thinking living a long time is all that much fun. That means that we are really being called to shift the perception of how we view our bodies, how we treat our bodies, how compassionate we are with our bodies. And it's not like, it's like, oh, you poor thing. It's just a matter of, what you could make it very basic. You're tired, rest. You know that eating whatever food is not healthy, doesn't make you feel good, don't eat it. And I know it sounds easy, but if you have any kinds of eating stuff going on, it's not all that easy to just stop, because that's one of the concepts, beliefs, and programs that is running very, very strong in a person, or it can be. And this is a really, really big thing, and that is that your body hears everything that you say. Every cell is alert. It's listening to what you say, not just what you say verbally, but what you say through your feelings. When you're self-judgmental, when you're beating yourself up, oh crap, I did that again. Or how come I never get this? Or whatever all those little subconscious things that come up are, your cells are going, oh, because it's a low vibration, it will lower the cellular activity and healing nature of the body. It literally lowers your immune system. So when we say, body's listening, are we, these are the things that we want to pay really close attention to. And if every day we're saying, I'm so tired, it's a daily instruction to the nervous system. Daily instruction until, through repetitiveness, it says, okay, I can do that. And then it's tired every day. And I had to really pay attention to this, because after I had my knee surgery, I'm really not all that comfortable for a while. I just hit my 3-month mark, and I realized that when I go to physical therapy or someone, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing good. Except when I go downstairs or something, blah, blah, blah. And I realized, oh, no, I'm creating more of that. And my mind has said, so it just means either you lie all the time or you just don't talk about it. And so I don't suggest the lying all the time, because you're still, and what you can do if you just feel like you're stuffing it, because you don't want to stuff it either, secondly, it's then you find a modification, like, I'm really getting better every day. My pain is less than it was, da, 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 da. So you're not in total denial, which will create a resistance, but you're also not saying, oh yeah, I'm walking on water, because that will also create resistance. Go ahead, Elaine.
Um,
You're muted.
yeah, no, I just love it. What if it's a natural tiredness? You said when you say all the time, I'm tired, I'm tired. What if you are tired by like the end of the day? And that actually happened to me tonight. Yeah, he's laughing here because I took it out on him. He was saying something, I didn't like it, blah, 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 back and forth. And I said finally, I'm just tired. And I exploded. So, and then I said, I'm sorry. So, isn't that kind of a natural kind of tiredness at the end of a day, a long day?
That's a very strong belief system in social consciousness and through the body belief systems across the board. It's in ultimately, it's not a matter of being tired at the end of the day in the ultimate world. We do, and then we go, okay, I'm going to rest now. Not because I'm totally exhausted from everything I did today, but I just lay myself down and let my body degenerate and, regenerate and do the things that it does. But we are justified in wanting to stop or being grumpy or any of those things by saying I'm tired. I won't mention how many times I've said that fast. I might be, I can remember times where I'd be really irritable and then I would just go, look, I'm just tired. Well, that was a good excuse, seemed reasonable. But ultimately, that isn't why I was grumpy. I was grumpy, most likely in those times, is because I knew that I was pushing my body farther than it wanted to go. I knew that I was choosing to stay up later than my body needed to just have time to regenerate. So the anger is not really that I'm so tired. The anger is I'm not listening.
Okay.
And I'll put this on me, but I do know that there's a few people I've spoken to that are kind of like this. We're addicted to doing this. We do stuff pretty much all the time because that is what gives us a certain level of payoff. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong, but as you know, my big thing is awareness. Have awareness about that. And before we express our grumpiness elsewhere, if we just stop, and this takes presence, we stop and go, okay, what's really going on here? I have my paper that Kyrie says, she does this every day, and I do too. So before you respond or react, if you just ask yourself, how do I feel right now in my body and my mind and my energy? And if you ask yourself the question, what truth is quietly presenting itself that I haven't heard yet, haven't seen yet? Because that's another reason that we can become very exhausted, so to speak, because it's like somebody's screaming in your ear and we just don't hear it because we're too busy. And I've done that a whole bunch of my life, which is one of the contributing factors to my precious little body's expression these days. But I've had pain pretty much all my life, had a lot of things. And there are additional reasons that we have that. Sometimes we are literally having we're transmuting karmic stuff for ourselves and for others. Many times when you really are strong and have your act together, you may take on a really uncomfortable life because you're helping those that are so far under the dirt that they can't get out. And there's a knowing that you can. So your oversoul, your will help you out. You'll get to, because it knows you won't give up. And so there's many, many, many reasons that we have lots of physical things, but before we lose consciousness and we yell, defend, do all the things that we all either do or have done, if we stop and just stop and breathe, or if we stop and say, okay, how do I feel in my body without judgment? Well, I'm noticing, not like I feel angry, because that's a head thing, which is not a bad thing. But what I'm really speaking about here is how do I feel in my body? You go in and you feel the rumbling. It's almost like you can see the fire in there. I can see the volcano getting ready to explode. So when we can make our best attempt as often as we can about that, that starts to break the pattern. It breaks the pattern because you're not lost in it. And sometimes you'll be lost in it, and other times you'll remember a little bit. Depends on how deep the trigger is. And we've gotten tired because we're always fighting life. We're fighting the pain. We're fighting the money troubles. We're fighting the family issues. We're fighting the whatever it is. Everybody's fighting something. It takes a lot of energy to do that. So, feel tired in your body. That's one of the reasons we all feel tired of the body. And the other thing that you can say to yourself is if, when you notice that, if truth were present right now, how would I feel? I actually would reword that to say, because truth is present right here, how do I want to be? Because then it puts us in a place of choice instead of saying, what if or whatever. And the other way to say it, which I originally wrote, was what truth quietly presents itself that I have not yet recognized. We stop and ask ourselves that. And sometimes we won't do that until after the fact. Sometimes we'll never do it. But even if you do it after the fact, then that will be very powerful, because when we blow up and then we apologize, which is the kind thing to do in society, but it doesn't, unless it does, eliminate shame, guilt, all the judgments that go on inside of us about ourselves. And so we take one step and it seems like we take two back. That's why practicing these things so consistently and so often will make it be more habitual. That's your autopilot. So Christine, you asked earlier, these are the kinds of things that you can do. What would it feel like to be already free, already awake? When you're feeling like, I've been so mean to myself, or I'm not being very kind, then flip it to, well, what would it feel like if I was awakened already? What would it feel like if I was really free? Or what would I be doing? What would I be thinking? Start guiding yourself to the place that you want to be. That's a really big, important thing, because we remember that whatever we are thinking, my goodness, whatever we are thinking is creating. We're in a constant state of creation. Remember that. A constant state of creation. Our words, our thoughts, our judgments, our feelings, our vibration, they are all creating for us. And so many of those things are done subconsciously that we don't even understand why we keep having the same old thing happen over and over again. I've brought to the attention to myself and to other people, well, what about that term? I didn't say that. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't have said that about myself. I wouldn't have said that about her. We get amnesia real fast, but we do. We do those things. We do say those things. So let's get real. Let's get authentic. because this is part of the human condition, and it doesn't have to be a life sentence. I mean, kind of is from the body standpoint, but you get the point. Uh, so these are things. It's all about awareness. It's about presence. It's about making a choice to choose differently. Everything that we go through, all the shame, all the guilt, all the self-judgment, all the self-denigration, these are autopilot programs. They're just on autopilot. They just run. Like, for those of you that are old enough to remember, like the cassette tapes, endless tapes. It's just an endless loop. It'll just keep doing what it does, but something has to go in there, pair of scissors, to cut that tape. And these are the kinds of things that will do that. Even if you can't remember, all of these, just say, well, you could say, I choose differently. You may not even know what you're choosing differently. You just know you don't want that. Or my personal favorite has always been help me. Source knows what help me means. It means change the way I'm thinking, change the way I'm speaking, changing my, whatever. Just raise my vibration now. Yo. And the more we do that, the more awesome and the more powerful our shift becomes, and the more rapidly it does. So the body is a bridge between dimensions. The body is how spirit moves in matter. And if we're treating the body as a sacred receiver of everything, then we want to look at how we eat and how we breathe and how we speak. We have to pay attention, or even how we relate to people. Talk behind people's back, whatever it is. You don't fix the body, you relate to it from a different level. So just a couple little things we'll finish up with are some contemplations. A contemplation would be something like to ask yourself, you can ask it rhetorically, or you can literally write it down. What have I been teaching my body to believe about me? What have I been teaching my body to believe about me? And am I willing to speak something new? What have I been teaching my body to believe about me? And am I willing to speak something new? When you get to the end of that sentence and you can feel I am all in 100%, then you'll start to really move the energy. If you're doing it because you think you should, but you don't really feel like it because you're not really done trying to punish that person, even though you're only punishing yourself, it's we have to reach that place, and we do after usually we've suffered enough. Hit bottom, heard it, you've seen it, drug addicts, alcoholics, addictions of any kind. But we want to remember, and this is probably, the biggest thing to remember here and anchor in is I'm not the body, but my body will believe whatever I keep repeating. I am not the body, but my body will believe whatever I keep repeating. Be very conscious of what you're repeating. And repeating just doesn't mean verbally out loud. It means what you're thinking, over and over. I don't have enough. I am not enough. They're never nice. They have always been unkind to me since childhood. Whatever it is, those programs are creating your next moment. And in my experience and what I have seen is you have to say it a lot more than one time. Because that program you have running, every one of us have them. It's like having a palm tree and taking a paring knife and saying, okay, I hit it with the knife. Why is it still standing? You know, why did it go away? Because it's very thick. And the more you use the knife, the sharper the knife gets, and you become faster and faster, and you interrupt those patterns, and you get more passionate about feeling good because you start to feel a little better, and then you feel a little better, and then it's kind of like, oh my God, I can't even bear the idea of going back and saying something unkind. It hurts my body. It does. And it's been hurting it all along, but you don't really know that until you know that. So if you have any physical self-abuse, I know a lot of people, that have burned themselves, cut themselves, do all kinds of things that are not all that much fun for themselves. On the other hand, unless they reach the place where they are ready to be done with that, they'll keep doing it until they do. So do not frustrate yourself if somebody doesn't seem to be, quote unquote, getting it, because you have no control over them. Everybody comes to, maybe it's a little radical, comes to the face of God when they're ready. They do. And no matter what you do or what you judge about them or anyone else, is not going to change their own particular journey, pathway, whatever. So there's no point in frustrating yourself thinking that you're going to save the world or get people to be the way you want them to be. I've done that for more years than almost everybody in this call is old. So don't bother. Go.
So what do you do? Let's say if it's a family member and you're with that space, you can't, not live with that person. How do you handle that when that happens? That spaces where, it, the conversation, already that it can tense your body with people shouting or chaotic or something like that. Do you have any insights or advice?
Can you help me understand the first part of what you were saying? I got the part where you were saying, just say it one more time for me.
Like, for instance, what if a person is living with a family member and that family member is, dysregulated and would snap or, would have that chaos and you know that it, like, how do you handle that? Do you have any advice when snaps happen or something like that? So you can, yeah, you know that you're the consciousness, but how do you handle that?
There's a few things. One is you go inside and you ask to see this person through the eyes of love.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if they're attacking you directly or there's somebody else or they're just, going a little bit wacko for whatever reason. Your job is to hold the space of love. I choose to see this person through the eyes of love. And another one that's a little bit more extended of that is in those moments especially, but this is a good thing to do every day, is use these eyes to see only love. Use these ears to hear only love, especially when they're screaming. Use this nose to smell only love. Use this mouth to speak only love. Let this heart be the love. And when this is repeated over and over again, everything else starts to drown out. And sometimes it's really appropriate to leave the physical space where that person is throwing their tantrum or whatever they're doing. There's no extra points for standing in front of the truck. You don't need to be a whipping post. You don't need to stand in front of energy that is constantly feeling like abuse, because people's words and their energy behind them hit people very harshly sometimes. And they're just doing what they're doing. Our job is to do the things that I just mentioned, put a bubble of love around yourself that only allows energy to move outwardly, which is the love. Work in consciousness before you go to sleep and when you get up at night. If this person has a pretty regular way of being this way, for whatever their reasons are, then you take the moments to hold them in your mind's eye and just send them the love. You're not telling them to be different. You're not telling them to stop attacking you or somebody else. You're not doing anything except sending them the love. And I've had personal experience that have been phenomenal with doing just this. I
Thank
mean,
you.
really miraculous,
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
of course. And if you reach a place ever where you're pretty triggered and you feel like you just can't, you can remind yourself, well, my personality thinks it can't, but this is no challenge for a God. I mean, seriously? And that's who you are, whatever your word is. So no challenge for a spirit. This is no challenge for the universe. This is no whatever. Because it's like nothing. I don't remember who I was talking to in the last couple of days coaching, and the person said, well, you know, I'm not capable of doing that. And I said, well, nobody's asking you to be capable of doing that, because you aren't capable of doing that because you're so much in this stuff. But who you are is nothing. We have to reach a place where we're willing to surrender into that part of ourselves and give up the control that the ego wants more than anything.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So I'm thinking that we will, I'm just having a very challenging time for myself stopping this, maybe because I've been doing it for 6 or more years. So I'm going to look at a calendar, but first I'm going to end our YouTube. I forgot that we were even on YouTube. And I'm not sure how to do it, so I'll just have to edit it if I ever do anything with this. But what I wanted to do is, well, here's a request. Is there anybody that would be interested in sending out an email to, it's a pretty small list, to the people, when I know what I'm going to speak about, sending an email to the people that regularly come. And it's not a mandatory thing, it's just something that would probably help remind people. Meanwhile, I am thinking about maybe,
May I ask, are you saying in lieu of what Raphael was doing, or are you just saying at this time to let people know what the plans are going forward.
Oh, that's a good idea too. I was talking about both. I didn't know I was talking about both. I was talking about what Raphael does, and I give you a list of the people, and then I give the name of the whatever's we're speaking about, and just gets mailed out. So, and it doesn't have to really be done more than once, and maybe it doesn't even need to be done. I'm just
We
trying
can
to
talk more
find
about that if you want.
I beg your pardon?
We can talk more about that if you want.
Okay, that'd be awesome. So the question I have for myself is whether to do November 4th and come to some inconclusive conclusion, or Raphael's shaking his head, uh, or wait a month and let's wait. Let's do a month and let's see what happens between now and then. And if
So you're talking about November 18th?
Yeah.
Okay.
and we'll meet in, everybody can contemplate whether you really still want this or not. Many of you are in the year-long program, so it's not like we're gone. But for those of you that aren't, I would miss you. So those are the things, I'm just being really transparent with what is going on, and I appreciate your feedback because it's important to me and it's helpful for me.
I have to tell you, I'm glad I got to share it tonight with you and my husband. It was good. I like that feeling,
That is
sharing.
And I wanted to acknowledge you actually earlier for being so transparent, so open, so real. This kind of authenticity dissolves garbage in a heartbeat. Nothing protected, nothing to hide. Unless I love you and I haven't seen you for a while, but I can see you now and you're always in my heart. And I just ran across one of the letters that you sent me a long time ago. Made my heart happy.
That's Esateys. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
He's waving.
Hi. Okay. Okay, so that's where we're at for now, and I look forward to hearing from you or seeing you next time or whenever I do. Okay? Okay. Thank you all. Bye for now.
Night.
Know that you're loved.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Glad you were here, Marilyn.
Thank you. I'm glad.